The grand auction hall glittered with chandeliers and echoes of laughter. Wealthy businessmen in sleek suits and elegant women in sparkling gowns filled the seats. But in the corner sat a man in worn-out clothes, dusty shoes, and a simple cap. He looked out of place, like someone who had walked in by mistake. Whispers spread across the hall. Who let him in here? He probably can't even afford the entry ticket. The man sat silently, eyes calm, studying the items being displayed one by one. The auctioneer lifted his gavel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with this antique vase, starting at $10,000. Hands shot up quickly. Laughter and competition filled the room. When the poor-looking man raised his hand, the room erupted in laughter. "Does he even know what dollars are?" one man mocked. "Careful, he might pay with coins from his pocket," another joked. But the man gave no reaction. His eyes remained focused. Item after item was announced: jewelry, paintings, rare statues. The man raised his hand again and again, and each time the crowd laughed louder. But shockingly, his bids were accepted. The auctioneer, at first hesitant, continued to confirm them. The wealthy bidders began losing interest, annoyed by his persistence. Is this some kind of prank? He'll never pay. Just wait and see. Still, the poor-looking man stayed calm. The last item was announced, a majestic painting worth millions. Starting bid, $1 million, the auctioneer declared. The room buzzed, hands flew up, numbers rose fast. At $5 million, the bidding slowed. And then, the poor-looking man raised his hand once more. $10 million, he said softly. Gasps filled the hall. The auctioneer's gavel came down. Sold! Silence fell. Every eye was now fixed on him. The auctioneer hesitated. Sir, do you have proof of funds? The man slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out a black leather wallet. Inside was a platinum card. Gasps, murmurs, shock. Moments later, the manager of the auction house walked in hurriedly. His face lit up with recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced, this is Mr. Kareem Ali, a billionaire investor who quietly owns half the real estate in this city. The hall went silent. All those who had mocked him now lowered their heads in shame. Kareem Ali stood and finally spoke. You judged me by my clothes, not by my worth. Remember, respect is not for sale, but dignity is priceless. With that, he signed the documents. He had officially bought every item in the auction. The same people who had laughed now stood to applaud, but their claps carried shame, and a lesson burned into their hearts. Never underestimate anyone by appearance. True wealth is not shown in clothes, but in character, wisdom, and dignity.